summer and cook in the kitchen in the month of May and June, and we took a few other examples there, and how during the inconvenience, like even to the inconvenience, they don't disturb. So what else, Prabhu? I think
we get disconnected. Okay, probably Prabhu got disconnected.
No, we didn't.
Now, so Prabhu, would you like to add something? I think Mohit Prabhuji got disconnected.
Yes, Prabhu. In this verse, we discuss on two things. First is matra sparsha, which is the sensory perception. And second most important word was titikshava, which is the tolerance. So in that, you went on to explain that tolerance means to tolerate, means to focus on a bigger goal.
Sorry, Prabhu.
And
My call got
do
disconnected.
not get deviated by our main goal of life. So that is called as tolerance. And then you went on to give 4 types of tolerance are maintained in our life.
1 second, Mahavasa Prabhu. So that's a very nice definition of tolerance. So tolerance, we are not talking about some physical tolerance here. If someone is cutting your hand and would you cry or not cry? That's not the tolerance which we are talking here. Krishna is talking about lower goals should not be able to distract us from the higher goals. If you're going for a higher goal, which is to achieve Krishna Prema here, the lower goals which may come in our life and which will inevitably come in our life should not disturb our main goal. So that's real definition of Titikshava. Thank you, Mahasa Prabhu. Please continue.
So in that you went on to explain 4 types of tolerance according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And in that you said first tolerance is tolerating the 6 urges, that is Vegas. Then second one was the tolerance of dualities of this world. Second one is tolerance of envy, that is you actually don't get envy because of someone else is getting praised for it, and you actually tolerate such things. Second thing is tolerating others' opinions, because there will be opinions and we have to tolerate and we have to work according to that.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone can say the Sanskrit words for these 4 types of tolerances? Sanskrit words. So Prabhuji has explained very nicely.
Can I say, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
I think Sanskrit word you said Veda Saishruta, Dvanta Saishruta, Paramata Saishruta, and Para Utkas Saishruta.
Okay, thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you.
And Veda is like 6 urges. Dvanta is the duality, like praise, criticism, heat and cold, like that. And Paramata is like others, like a difference of opinions, like others' opinion. And a Paramata is when someone grow higher than you should tolerate their growth. But like envy, you should tolerate their envy.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. And who will tell what are the 3 different levels of tolerances? There are 4 types, 3 levels.
One is at the physical or bodily level, Prabhu, like say example.
An example given in the verses?
Winter and summer seasons.
Sita Ushna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Second one is?
Second one is
emotional level.
Emotional level.
Thank you. Example?
It's like happiness and distress. Last one is ego level, which is at
Man and Apman.
Man and Apman.
Which Krishna has not introduced as yet, but it will come very soon. Okay, thank you. Everyone knows this verse nicely. That's nice. Let's move to the next one. 215. I think Ujjwal Mataji or Manohar Prabhu is ready to say 215.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So, shall I read the translation first?
Translation, Prabhuji, has a few main points.
Okay. Basically, here it actually stresses that we should develop attachment to the real goal in life, that is achieving Krishna's love for Godhead, and develop detachment from all the different dualities we talked about here in the verse before, in order to progress in the spiritual path.
Okay. What's the connection between 214 and 215? Maybe someone else can say. Divya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So So in 215, we said, what is the result of that tolerance?
Thank you,
So
Mataji.
continuing from 214.
Yes, thank you very much. So, and what is that result, Mataji?
So that person who tolerates becomes great among Purusha,
Yes.
and who doesn't get stressed, who is Sama, so he's same or unaltered in happiness and distress, and he becomes eligible for liberation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mataji. So that's the connection between 214. So 214 Krishna is talking tolerance, and 215 he gives the result of the tolerance, which is very important. Whenever we do something, we need to see the result, what we are going to get. So Krishna says, if you can tolerate these sort of things, which I've explained in 214, what you will get? Amrit tattvaya kalpate. Amrit means amrita, not death. So now we are dying again and again in different bodies. We take different bodies and we die. Amrit tattvaya kalpate. You will be considered. You become eligible for the liberation. So, or you can do it other way. If you want to get liberated from this material birth and the cycle of birth and death, what you have to do? Become dhira. You become equal in sukha and dukha. Most of the time when the dukha comes, we become very distressed. When the sukha comes, we become very excited. We become very proud. I'm so great. I'm such a great achiever. I'm so and so. Whatever the illusion may be, but we get excited. We change from our position. And when dukkha comes, we get very distressed. Oh my God, there's nothing left in my life. The whole life is wasted. People are like that, or some things are like that. But Krishna is saying we should become dhira, and only that time you should become, you'll be considered for the liberation. It is a long practice. Thank you, Mataji. 216, who has just joined? Going backwards. Vinay Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In here again.
We can read the translation, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah. Those who are shares of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent the material body there is no endurance, and of the eternal the soul there is no chance. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So yes, so who can this 14 and 15, who can achieve, like he can tolerance and the all 4 types and 3 levels, they can actually reach the goal, so that's the say. And Tattvadarshigam, and is you have to be surrendered to Guru, like who knows the Shastras and practicing that Guru's advice and Shastra's direction, then you can achieve that goal.
Yeah.
That's the.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. So as Prabhuji nicely explained, Tattvadarshibhi, they're the seers of the truth, as Prabhupada writes here. Darshibhi is by the seers. So what the seers have said, Drashtonta. So we have the word called Vedanta. What does Vedanta mean? The anta, the conclusion of Vedas. So drashta obviously here refers to not seeing the vision. So what is the, when someone is visionary, he can see the long-term things. So vision, drashta, anta. So anta of that vision. So the tattvadarshibhi, the person who have seen the truth, have seen with their vision. What's the anta of that? Ubhayor api. Ubhaya refers to the both. What are the 2 prakritis, 2 natures? Krishna is describing in the first line. Na asata. Asata. Sata means eternal. Asat means non-eternal. Na asata vidyate bhava. So one who is non-eternal, na asat, sat asat, and then na asat. One who is not asat, which is temporary, vidyate bhava. The temporary has no endurance in long term. So temporary will not last long. Na bhava vidyate sataha. And sataha, the permanent, will always last. This is said by Tattvadarshibhi. So basically Krishna is saying, you should not worry too much about the body, because body is asat and the soul is sat. So even if you try to save this body by you not killing it, body is not going to get saved. And soul, even if you're killing the body, soul will always survive. So na asato vidyate bhava. So two words we can take here as a keyword, asat and sat. So what is sat? We are referring to the spiritual existence, the spiritual dimension, and asat we are referring to the material dimension. And Tattvadarshi have said, asat will not last because it's asat. It's non-permanent anyway. So Prabhupada writes, who are the seers of truth have concluded that the non-existence, Prabhupada writes in brackets, the material body, which is referring to the asat here, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. So you should not worry too much about the body. Thank you, Vinay Prabhu. We're going back. Next one, 217. Vijaya Mataji, would you like to do the 217?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Read the verse.
That which pervades avinasti tu tatvidi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit karstum arhati. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. So Krishna here is talking about the soul. So this is the, I would say, the first time that he's actually mentioning the soul, and he's saying Avinashi, that one that it cannot be destructed. So the quality of the soul that he's describing, that it is not going to be destructible. And so the characteristic of the yes, as I said, like that it is describing the characteristic of the soul is that it is imperishable, avinashi, and so therefore that, you know, yeah, basically that's where it's stopping. Yeah.
One more characteristic is there. What's the second one? In the second line.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So there are two characteristics given in the verse. Avinashi, which is the first one, is indestructible, and the second is avyayasya, which means imperishable. What's the difference between imperishable and indestructible?
Perishable is something, as you explained, is that it actually deteriorates.
Over time.
And destructible means actually the existence itself is removed forever.
Thank you.
So there is no existence of
Yeah,
such thing.
Yeah. So there are two characteristics described, one by Mataji, one by Prabhuji. Very nice. Teamwork. So Avinashi to tad vidhi, that one vidhi, no. So that one which is talking about soul here, you should know this is Avinashi and yena sarvamidam tatam. And this actually exists, this pervades in the entire body. The consciousness of the soul is pervading the entire body. Body is live right now because of the soul is giving the energy. If the soul is out, body will be dead in a second. Right? Yena sarvamidam tatam. That consciousness is pervaded all over. And the second line is saying avyayasya. So another characteristic is imperishable. I'll give you one more example. For Bhishma Pitama has this Ichha Mrityu Vardhan. He will die whenever he wanted to die, isn't it? So indestructibility was there, as per Bhishma Pitama, for example. But where was happening, isn't it? He was getting aged or no? How old was he? In the Mahabharata, people say around 400 years old. He was 400 years old. So was he imperishable, can you say? No, he was perishable, isn't it? He was getting old. He was getting perished. But he was indestructible till he wanted, at least, right? But the soul does not get perished. So if you leave the soul, for example, you can't, but you know, it's not going to smell tomorrow. You have to give bath to the soul. You have to give some food to the soul. No, all this belongs to the body, because body is not avyay. Body is vyay. Every day we are getting old. Last week we were discussing when we entered into the Mohit Prabhu's ashram. We had a different age. When we exited, we had a different age. We became older, 2 hours, at least 2 hours older. So every moment our body is becoming perished. And one day it will perish so much, it will get destroyed. But the soul does not have that characteristic. So Krishna is saying, na kaschit kartum harati. No one can do that. No one is able to destroy. And the vinasham, we have to add the vinasham in the fourth line. Na kaschit kartum harati. No one can do it. What they cannot do? Vinasham of this soul. So no one can destroy the soul. So you should not lament so much. Now also one thing, I think we didn't discuss last week, but I was looking at this verse today. And Prabhupada also gives a very nice measurement of the soul here from Shveta Upanishad 5.9, Balagrashad Bhagasya. So what is the sort of measuring length of the soul? Is Balagrashad Bhagasya. So Bala Agra, so Agra of your Bal, Agra of your hair, you divide it into 100 pieces, and each 100 pieces is further divided into 100 pieces. So it is 1/10,000th tip of the hair. So you can say extremely small soul, extremely small. So Prabhupada writes here, this soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. And this is given in Shveta Upanishad, and there's another verse as well. So Keshagrashad Bhagasya, similar verses are there. So this describes the measurement of the soul, which is pretty tiny. And we'll see the same theme continuing into the next verse as well. So let's start from today's discussion, 2:18. Now, who has just joined? Rupam Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Would you like to read 2:18, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Yes. Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirina anashino pramayasya anasya prameyasya
Anasena aprameyasya
tasmat yuddhasya bharata.
Bharata.
Translation: the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Antavanta ime deha, it's very similar to Hindi. If you read the Sanskrit, you can translate ime deha, this body. Antavanta, one day it's going to perish, today or tomorrow. Prabhupada writes very nicely. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately, or it may do so after 100 years. It's just a question of time. It says when someone is given a death sentence, people get, wow, he's got death sentence. But actually, we are all given death sentence, isn't it? Hum sabko mila hai. Is anyone exempted who's not going to die? Any Parampara Bhishma Pitama, even Bhishma had to quit his body. So everyone has got a death sentence. So we should not worry too much. This person got death sentence. Bhai sahab, aapko bhi mila hai. We all have it, but we don't know. Prabhupada says, maybe after 100 years, we don't know. But one day, we all have to leave this body. So antavanta ime deha. That's why we should not be too much proud on this body or bodily possessions. We are going to leave not only the possessions which belong to this body, so-called belong to the body, we will leave the body itself as well. Nothing we can carry. So, antavant ime deha. It's a very nice line. We can just stick on our forehead, not physically, but in terms of meditation, so that will not be attached so much. What happens to the possessions of the body, then what we speak of, other things here and there. So, antavant ime deha. But nityasya ukta sharirinaha. So, previously Krishna used the word dehi. Dehi means one who is the owner of deha. Now, we don't see it, but that's the real owner, because when the owner existed, what happened to the property? Property dies. Now, you cannot do some investment there. That, okay, buy someone else's property, put it on rent. We are already on the rent. Ourselves are rent. And what's the rent we are paying? Anyone know? So we are paying rent of this body. So whatever body I have right now, good looking, bad looking, very intelligent or not intelligent, rich or poor, I'm paying some rent, isn't it? So my soul is the owner, and soul is paying rent. What's the rent of this body? What's the rent we are paying? Our karma. Karma is the rent, because whatever karma we had accumulated in the past, based on that karma, I've got this body. Whatever, again, good, bad, this, that, black, white, green, yellow, whatever I've got. Based on my karma, I've got this body in the bodily situation. Some people are very beautiful looking. Some people are very intelligent based on their karma. So that's the rent. And when do you exit the body? When the rent finishes, isn't it? When you have enough piety, you can get a human life, and you can be rich, you can be beautiful, you can have beautiful facilities for this body and for your family. But if you don't have enough rent, what happens? You see some poor people, they're poverty stricken, they will have lots of diseases, and they may have very little possession that also gets stolen. so many calamities come in their life because they're paying very low rent, actually, very, very low rent, because their karmic account is very low. And that's why some people you see very beautiful, very intelligent, very smart, whatever they do, they get success. They are paying high rent. What is the high rent? They are actually paying off their karma, whatever they have accumulated in the past life. And when the rent is finished, you are no more able to reside in this hotel. You go to the Meriton and Meriton say, what's the room charge? You say, I only have $20 for per day. They will kick you out. You have to have enough rent. So what is the enough rent for this human body? Whatever in terms of number, if you say, $1,000 or whatever it is, if you don't have enough money, what you will get? You'll get a dog's body or a cat's body. Even if you have not even that rent, what body you will get? A machhar ka body, a mosquito body. And if that is not also achievable, you become a ghost or something. So it's all a matter of rent. Rent means karma. But karma one day will, antavanti me deha. It will finish. It will finish. The only thing will survive is akarma. We've not read as yet, but the devotional service, that is akarma. Devotional account, it says indestructible and undepletable. So it doesn't get depleted. Everything else is depleted. Our karma is also getting depleted. It says when you achieve some name, fame, money, family, intelligence, whatever, you achieve it and it gets depleted, isn't it? So from if you have say 5 credit in your account, from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and the day it's 0, get out from the hotel. Or you are negative. For example, you're in a dog's body or an animal's body, you go -5, -4, -3, -2, -1 and 0. So from minus to 0 and plus to also 0. So it all gets depleted. But if you chant Hare Krishna, you serve Krishna, you eat Krishna Prasad, you distribute Krishna Prasad, you talk about Krishna. When does it finish? Anyone? The Sukriti which you have got, when does it finish? Hare Krishna?
Never.
Never finishes.
You sure?
Never finishes.
It's eternal.
It's eternal.
Yes,
It
it's
never finishes. And that is why it's called word imperishable. Krishna and Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's devotee, Krishna Katha, anything to do with Krishna, it's eternal. And that's why devotees always are trying to gather this eternal wealth. They're not worried too much about the material wealth. Material wealth is there and we do what we need to do, but they're not too much worried about the material wealth or material upside down. They're not too much concerned. They are constantly focusing on one thing. What is that? Nitya Sharirana. What I'm gathering for this Atma. Because this human birth is a perfect opportunity for gathering that wealth. We're all greedy. I am. I'm sure others are as well. We are all working. We are trying to establish ourselves somehow or other. But all our establishments, sorry to say, will be gone. All the material establishments will be gone. The only one establishment will go with us. And that is a spiritual establishment. Whatever, one Ram Nam if you have taken, that account is permanently certified by Krishna. No Yamraj, no Yamdut, no Brahmaji, no one can gather. No one can diminish that account. It will never go from +5 to 0. Everything else will go one day. So we should always remember that, and then we'll not be disturbed. It says Bhagavad-Gita is not telling you how to live happily in the material world. That's not the Bhagavad-Gita is about. Materially, I'm talking, materially. But Bhagavad-Gita, you can live in the material world by having a spiritual consciousness. The Dvanda of the material will be there always. It was there for Kunti Maharani, it was there for Bhima, it was there for Arjuna. After listening the whole Bhagavad-Gita, did Arjuna had to lose his son? Abhimanyu, Arjun had to lose all the 5 sons, other brothers. Arjun had to lose so much after listening Bhagavad-Gita. So don't think after listening Bhagavad-Gita or understanding Bhagavad-Gita, materially our life will start working very nicely. Sometimes that's the expectation. Oh, Prabhu, aap to mandir jate hain. You go to temple, you are also having calamities. Actually, as per Vishwavatam, you will have more calamities because Krishna likes you. It says when Krishna likes you, he gives you the thing. And when he loves you, he takes away everything. Isn't it? When he likes you, he gives you. So when you are flourishing materially, you should be very careful. Oh, maybe Krishna is liking me materially. But when he takes away everything, then actually he is loving you. So it doesn't mean, you do some stupid things. That's not what it means. But the point here is we should not get too much puffed up or too much distressed about material up and down, because antavant ime deha. So deha, when deha goes, everything else around the deha will also go. Nitya Syukta, Nitya, eternal. What is that? Sharirinaha, Dehi, that is eternal. And then Krishna says again, anashino. He has used the word previously as well. So he's repeating the word. When the repetition comes in Shastra, what does it signify? The point is very important. Point is very important. Someone was telling Prabhupada, your devotees are always talking about books, books. So they will become bookworm. Why they are just saying again and again and again, book. So Prabhupada said, if you don't read my books, you will become a stool worm. So it's better to become a bookworm than a stool worm. So yes, because books are the basis. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj said nicely, he said, books are the basis, but nowadays what people consider bucks are the basis. Bucks, dollars, rupees, bucks are the basis. So bucks are not the basis, which is our general conception. We have to break that conception through. Bucks will come and go. Ducks will come and go. But books, the knowledge which we achieve from the book, again, the realized knowledge, preferably. Right now, we are reading everything theoretically, but slowly by Krishna's mercy, it will be realized one day. That realized knowledge is the basis of our spiritual life. And that's why we come in Sangha and read few things with devotee association and the Prabhupada guidance. And then we may start getting some realization. And one day we'll be able to live this knowledge, what we are reading today. And that will be the success of this life. So anashino, aprameyasya. Anashino refers to indestructible. Aprameyasya. Prameyasya means measurable. Aprameyasya means immeasurable. Now, just in the previous one, Prabhupada has written the size of the soul. What is the size of the soul? 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. And now here Krishna is saying aprameyasya. It's immeasurable. How doesn't it contrast these two things? How do you understand that? So Krishna is saying, we have to take it the context here. So when Prabhupada is talking the previous verse, based on Shweta Shuddha Upanishad, that is based on the material calculation. It's telling how small the soul is. This verse, Krishna is telling from a spiritual perspective. Spiritually, we are material. All the measurements are material. If you talk about someone's height, Prabhuji is 170 centimeter tall or 180 centimeter tall, whatever. It's all material length, isn't it? But what is the length of your soul? Krishna is saying, aprameyasya, you cannot measure. This means you cannot measure materially. Because if you say 1/10,000 the tip of the soul, then you will say, Prabhuji, I have a very good microscope. I can even go 10 to the -12 power. So how come I cannot see the soul? You can never be able to see the soul because you have material eyes. Who can see the soul? Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, whose eyes are anointed with Premanjana Chreda Bhakti Vilochanena, Santah Sadaiv Hridayeshu Vilokyanti, whose eyes are anointed with the kajal, mascara of love. Love of Krishna, not love of this material world. Their eyes can see Krishna constantly. They can see the soul. They can see the Paramatma. Once Prabhupada was asked, you're talking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Have you ever seen Krishna? So Krishna, what was the response of Prabhupada? In multiple situations, Prabhupada gave different responses, but sometimes he said, yes, I have seen Krishna. I see Krishna as good as I see you. Now that's fantastic. Prabhupada is saying, I see Krishna as good as I see you. That's fantastic. Once Prabhupada was asked, how do you know what's Krishna's desire? So one sannyasi disciple of Prabhupada was there and he said, we look in Shastra, we look in Shastra. And he was right. But Prabhupada looked at him and said, no, we don't look at Shastra. I just ask Krishna, what do you like? Prabhupada said that, I just ask Krishna. That was the position of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada could do all that, but how? Some people say Prabhupada is a very eternal associate of Krishna who was sent by Krishna. Some also say Prabhupada showed an example of sadhana siddha bhakta as well. Sadhana siddha bhakta means one who has become siddha on the basis of sadhana. Now we are, at least in our knowledge, are not personal associate of Krishna or something, at least in externally, I don't know, eternally your position may be very elevated, but externally speaking. So now we are on the path of sadhana siddhi. Sadhana siddhi means through the sadhana, we are aspiring to become siddha. That's very important. That's why we have to do our sadhana very nicely. I see Manish Prabhu just joined in. So Manish Prabhu is a doctor. Just one example came to my mind. He was probably some years ago, he was giving some exams because I think in his line, he has to give a lot of exams. I said to Prabhu, you just gave exam, a few months ago. He said, Prabhuji, so many exams. But what to do? I have to give and pass the exam because I have to, make it like that. It's just a requirement of his profession. So I'm sorry, Manish Prabhu, I just remembered this example. So similarly, if you have to become Siddha, you have to pass the exam. And how often do we give exam? Aspiring devotees, all of us, how often do we give exam? Every moment. Every moment we have to give exam, and then we have to become Siddha, pass the exam. And once we passing all the exams all the time, then we'll become Siddha and go back to Godhead. Huh? And if we fail the exam, what will happen? Krishna will say, Abhi aur, Abhi aur, Abhi aur. Once Radhanath Maharaj was telling one nice example, live example actually. He was talking to one of his disciples. He was a pilot. So Maharaj was just talking to him nicely, and he was just asking, so what do you do? He said, I'm a pilot. So Maharaj said, so how do you learn all this? Huh? Flying big planes, very responsible job, isn't it? They can't work from home. Huh? So with Prabhu, IT, working from home, pilots are they allowed to work from home? Probably not at this stage. So Maharaj was asking, so he said, we have a simulator, some sort of video game, a simulator video game, where they learn how to fly in that machine. Huh? I'm sure some devotees are smiling and laughing. Their kids might have it. I have never experienced one. But anyway, so there you can also feel some shakiness and flying, taking off and landing to the ground. So they can do everything. So they have to pass their exam in the simulator first. And how much marks they have to get? Anyone can guess? Before they can start flying the real flight? 90%? 95%? 100%. One mistake, they're out in the simulator. Because if they do one mistake while flying in the sky, carrying 400 passengers or something like that, they are risking 400 lives, huh? Just because of one tiny mistake. They have to pass 100%, and there are a couple of series, very hard series as well. Even if they are out by 1 mark, they don't promote them. So even if we are out by 1 mark in our spiritual life, will Krishna take us? It's not a discouragement. It's just the bar it is. Huh? It's pretty high. Not everyone becomes, IIT doctor and this and that, because the bar is pretty high. So Krishna's bar is also very high. And we give exam. Every moment we give exam, and we fail. We all fail. I fail 100 times a day. I fail 100 times a day. Nityananda Maharaj was saying, it's not that we become devotee only when we go to the temple. We are devotee all the time, or we are not devotee, whatever it is. Huh? We are struggling sadhaka. So we struggle and we fail. Many times we fail. So slowly our failures will be less and the successes will be more. And however lifetime it takes, when we become 100% pure, then Krishna will take us in. So we are in that path of that sadhana siddhi. Huh? Through the sadhana, we are trying to become siddha. It's not an easy path. But if we work hard, Krishna promises, I'll personally make arrangements for you. The Dham Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamo Pyantite. So Anashino Aprameyasya Tasmad Yudyasya Bharata. So last line, Krishna actually saying to Arjun, what is saying to Arjun? Tasmad, therefore, Yudyasya, Yuddha karo, huh? Just fight. Bharata refers to Arjuna. So basically this verse is very nice, and our Acharyas has explained this verse. There are 2 types of categories in Shastra. One are general statements of the Shastra, one are instructional statements of Shastra. General statements means 214, for example, Matrashva Shastra Konte. So everyone should tolerate. This Sita, Ushna, Sukh, Dukh will come and go. Just tolerate. Huh? This is just a general statement for everyone. Now, Krishna in this particular verse 218 is giving a personal instruction to Arjuna, isn't it? Tasmad, therefore, Yudyasya Bharata. And this is very important because we all struggle in our life. We have so many confusions. We want to see our Guru Maharaj, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? This and that. We're always in confusion. Huh? Many times we are in confusion. We need some guidance from senior devotees, from Guru Maharaj. So we go to Guru Maharaj. What should I do? Because Arjun here is confused. Should I fight or not fight? Krishna clearly in this verse is giving a personal instruction. You go to a chemist shop, if you are sick, and chemist says, these are all medicine, take anything, huh? Or take them all. Manish Prabhu, you'll not be very happy if everyone takes anything. Huh? You write a specific prescription for a specific person, because that's what the body is. And then specific to that body, you write a particular prescription, and if he follows the prescription, he gets well. That's the hope, at least. So similarly, in this particular this instructional verse, there are few instructional verses in Bhagavad-Gita, and others are generic statement. And generic statement should lead to the instructional verse. Maybe you are a Brahmana, you are a Vaishya or a Kshatriya, you may be a working man or a housewife or whatever it is. Everyone gets confused, and these sort of statements are given by our spiritual master or spiritual guides, and this is where we should come down to and understand what our action should be in that particular situation. So we should present our heart as Arjun presented his heart to Krishna in 2.7. He surrendered to Krishna and said, please guide me. What should I do? So here Krishna is saying very clearly, Tasmad Yadyasava Bharata. And future verses, he will also say a few things. Okay, I see two hands here. So Sumit Prabhu and Sonia Mataji first.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you've been mentioning like last time also, this time also, maybe a very basic and maybe a foolish question, but we mentioned about like ghost bodies. You know, if your karmas are not enough, so you get a lower body, and if they're not really enough, you get a ghost body. So what does that ghost body actually refer to?
What does ghost body actually refers to? Okay, that's also a big topic in itself. There are different types of ghost. You must have heard of there's a bhoot, there's a pishach. There are categories in ghosts as well. Like in humans, there are categories. So there are, how many types of human bodies are available? Anyone? 400,000. 400,000 different types of human bodies are available. Not 400,000 human bodies, 400,000 types of human bodies are available, and we are one of them. What do you call in science? Homo sapiens? I think that's what they call it. So Homo sapiens is just one type. There are 400 types of human bodies available. So ghosts also have their own categories. Again, based on the karma, like a very simple example I'll give you. It's a big topic. Suppose human body needs 1,000 pious credits. If you have 100 credits, you'll not get human body. You'll probably end up getting I don't know, a mosquito body or something like that. You have a credit of 1, you'll get a body of whatever the smaller species is. Maybe someone else can help me. Some amoeba or virus.
Indragopa.
Indragopa, thank you. People are referring Shastra only. Indragopa, that's what Shastra calls it. The smallest living entity is Indragopa. So whatever. So similarly, Prabhu, sometimes when people miss out, okay, it can go two ways. It can go from lower to higher or higher to lower. Mostly it's higher to lower. When I say higher to lower, descending format, some humans say commit suicide, for example. So they prematurely destroy their body. One example only, it's not the complete knowledge. So they prematurely destroy the body. So now their time is not yet to go on a different body, right? Suppose they're supposed to live 30 years or 50 years, for example. At 30, at the age of 30, the boy or the girl committed suicides. They still had an allocation of 20 years of their life in this particular body, right? But because they had destroyed the body, so what has happened? Destroying something leads to some karma, isn't it? If you destroy someone's property, what will happen? You have to pay for it. You go and break someone's headlight. What you will do? You will not only break your headlight, you will do something else as well. So you have to pay with the interest, right? So if you destroy your body, as per the law of karma, you have to pay some karma. So whatever karma you have to suffer in this body, that karma plus, because you have destroyed body which does not belong to you, it belongs to nature, it belongs to Krishna. Actually, Krishna has given you a facility to perform some particular action, but you could not take whatever came in your life and then you destroyed it. So now you've got double karma, isn't it? The karma left for this body, plus because you destroyed someone else's property, plus the interest. So it says for that particular period of time, that soul gets a subtler body. It's not exactly subtle body. It's grosser than our subtle body, but subtler than our gross body. What I mean to say, it's not just a subtle body, man, buddhi, hankar, it has another avaran as well, but it's not the gross body. And that's why you see all these bhoots, not all of them, some of them, they reside in someone else's body, because when they are hungry, they cannot eat because they don't have gross senses, they don't have tongue, they don't have a tummy, but they are hungry because their desires are still there. They live in someone else's body and they eat from them, and then they do certain other activities from their body as well. So that's a very, very painful situation, actually, very, very painful situation. And they cannot just enter in anyone's body. They enter into the bodies of those people who are very weak conscious, very, very weak conscious, and they disrupt certain things, and there are certain areas their prabhav is more and all that thing. So yes, Prabhuji, so you go lower, but you still carry all the burden on you, and it's very, very painful. And there are different types as well, and there are some very powerful beings as well in that yoni as well. They're very powerful beings. Like in humans, we have powerful yonis like demigods, yakshas. Pretas also are very, very powerful. You must have heard about Betal. So they are sort of a pret. So they appear, they disappear, they have lots of power. They can do lots of things. Bhutas are different than pretas. They are pisachas. They are brahma rakshasas. Many, many descriptions are given in actually Padma Puran and Skanda Puran as well. Okay, does that give you summary of it?
Thank you, Prabhuji. No.
Okay. Ujjwal Rasa Mataji or Manohar Prabhu has a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, like we hear that Srila Prabhupada was eternal associate of the Lord, and as well as we hear that he is sadhana siddha. So they are not same. So they are different. So how is it described both ways? Is it to give us understanding how, so that we can follow him by example?
Yes, Mataji, you got the point. So basically, many times, someone's like Prabhupada, for example, he's a Uttam Koti Bhakta, he's a Uttam Adhikari, but he comes down to Madhyama level just for preaching purposes. So Uttam Adhikari, and if you don't know, don't worry about it. We'll read when we go there. Uttam Adhikari cannot preach because he sees everyone as a better devotee than him or herself, right? Radharani, for example. So she sees everyone as a better devotee. So if you're on an Uttama level, you cannot preach. So Prabhupada comes down on a Madhyama level. When we say Prabhupada is a sadhana siddha, just to encourage us, yes, you can also make siddhi in your sadhana and become very, very eligible. And Prabhupada showed that example. You see, he was preaching initially to hippies. They were breaking all the four regs, and they were doing everything nonsense. Jananda Maharaj was saying in one of the classes in Sydney, he said, there was no sin under the sun which we had not committed. Maharaj said that. There was no sin under the sun which we had not committed. That was a position of those boys and girls. And what they became? Param Vaishnava, Param Guru. And now they are the Guru of thousands of people. How did this happen? How did this happen? If you just look at externally, internally, you cannot judge. You cannot judge who they are. But externally, a person from that status has become to this status. How it's possible? Through sadhana and the mercy of Guru. So his Guru, Prabhupada said, I have made your piety. Prabhupada said that, I have made your piety. So yes, many times these examples are given for our encouragement. And Prabhupada's position is obviously is explained by many, many sannyasis. He's an eternal associate of the Lord, and Lord personally sent Prabhupada to this material world. And actually Prabhupada was saying, I will not go. Krishna said, no, please go. Prabhupada said, there, someone asked, you're a very posh person, and someone asked you to go and live in the bin for 3 days. Would you like that? Anyone? I wouldn't. Not my first preference though. But Prabhupada was asked to go, and Krishna said, please go, and I want to do something through you. Prabhupada said, no, not there, not there. No one wants to come here. It says in Bhagavatam itself, till Dwapar Yuga, demigods used to come and visit our earth planet as a human. Actually, they will come, they will sit in the yagya. You can also see them on the streets. You can see somewhere in the mountain or in a garden somewhere. You will see sometimes, and you see many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam. Gandharvas used to come, demigods used to come, but in the Kali Yuga, it says demigods don't even like to see on the earth planet. What to speak of coming? They don't come here in Kali Yuga because we are so fallen. Who would like to come here? And Prabhupada was told by Krishna, you go there. And Prabhupada said, no, not there. And Krishna said, no, please go. I'll make all the arrangements. And Prabhupada said, all right, all right, I will go. So Prabhupada came like that. So Prabhupada was told personally by Krishna. And there's so many pastimes of that, how Prabhupada came and what he did. No one else can do, no one else. My Guru Maharaj was saying in one of the classes, as we see, Krishna only appears once in a day of Brahma. Prabhupada also appears once in a day of Brahma. So this is sannyasi speaking. Prabhupada appears once in a day of Brahma. And we are just, Many of you would have born in this earth planet when Prabhupada was here. Many of you, not all of you. I wasn't there, but maybe in my previous body. So we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate to have the deity of Prabhupada here. Anyway, I'll not go to Prabhupada Katha here, but Prabhupada is eternal associate of Lord, personally instructed by Lord, personally empowered by the Lord Nityananda to do what he could do. No other Acharya in the history of this universe has done this, what Prabhupada has done this. Okay, let's move forward. So 218 is a very, very nice verse, very instructional verse for Arjun as well as for us. I'll read the verse again. Antavant ime deha. This deha is going to get destroyed. Nityasukta sharirinaha. This sharirini or dehi or atma or embodied soul inside the body, the owner of the body is nitya. Anashino aprameyasya. Two qualities are given again. Tasmad yuddhyasya bharata. Therefore, you should fight. Okay, let's move forward. 219. Maybe I can ask Manish Prabhu to read that.
So the shloka or
yes, Prabhuji. We read shloka in translation.
Ya enam veti hantaram
Yaenam veti hantaram
yaschenam manyate hatam
Yashainam
Mannate hatam
ubhauto na vijanito
Ubhautau na vijanito
nayam hanti na hanyate.
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain.
Yeah, it's a little twist tongue here, but it's nice verse. So very easy verse. Ya enam, ya again referring to this topic which you are referring of the qualities of the soul. Veti, one who knows. Hantaram. So hanta, you please remember this word. Hant means to kill or to destroy. This word comes so many times. So hantaram. So hantaram refers to the killer. So hanta means killing. And hantaram refers to the killer. So ya enam veti. Veti means one who knows. Hantaram, ya, killer. So soul is a killer. One who knows the soul is a killer. Yes, chainam, or one who knows manyate hatam, or one who knows this is getting hatam. Hatam is getting killed. So one who considers soul is a killer, or another one considers soul is killed. Ubhav, ubhav again refers to, ubhav means two parties. Ubhav, both of them, tau na vijanito, janana, in Hindi ka word, janana, to know. Vijanito, they do not know. They do not know. Both of them do not know. Nayam hanti, na hanyate. It never gets killed and it never kills. There are two things. One is to kill someone. If say A is killing B, for example. So A is the killer and B is getting killed, right? So if someone considers soul is a killer, like you're saying in the context of Arjun, if you think you are the killer of Bhishma Pitama, for example, you are not in knowledge. And if you think Duryodhana is going to kill you, then also you are not in knowledge. So if someone thinks soul is a killer, he is also not in knowledge. One who thinks soul is getting killed, that one is also not in knowledge. Ubhav tau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyate. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Is that clear? This verse is very simple one. Again, continuing the same thought pattern of avinashino, indestructible. Soul is indestructible. Okay, let's move to 220. Who has not read as yet? I see Nidhi Mataji. Hare Krishna, Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Would you like to read 220?
Yes, Prabhu. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin.
Na jayate mriyate va kadachin.
Nanyam bhutva bhavita vana bhuvyaha.
Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha.
Ajo nitya shashvato ayam purano.
Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano.
Na hanyate na hanyamane sharire.
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
Yeah, it's a very popular verse. It says again the more qualities of verse. Na jayate. Ja means janma. Pankaja. Pank mein janm lene wala. One who is taken birth in panka, mud. So whenever the ja comes, ja in Hindi also we have janma. Janma karma chame devyam evam vyattatah. So ajo is also a word. So wherever the ja comes, you can say janma. So na jayate. Na jayate refers to what? नहीं जन्म लेता है. It does not take birth. Mriyate va kadachin. Mriyate means marna, death. Also, it does not die. What you are referring to, the body or the soul? Obviously, the soul, because body takes birth, body dies. We all know that, although we don't want body to die, but unfortunately, it dies. Or I should say rather, fortunately. One time, some people will say, Bhagwan utha lete to acha tha. The body becomes a burden. There's so much pain in the body and so much other things. People actually pray many times. So fortunately, actually, we leave the body and we get a fresher body. Hopefully, next one will be a nicer one. Na jayate mrite va kadachin. Nayam bhutva. Bhutva means the past tense we are talking. So don't think, in the past it did not exist. Nayam bhutva bhavitana vana bhuya. In the future it will not exist. Ajo, aja. Means no. Amar. Mar means, Amar Prabhu is here somewhere. I saw the name. Anyway, Amar. Mar means marna, death. Amar means one who does not die. Parents have given such a nice name, Mahavasu Prabhu. Amar. And Kirti is the surname. Wow, fantastic, huh? One who is Amar and whose Kirti is also Amar. Amar Kirti. And that is only Krishna or Krishna's devotee. Their Kirti, their fame is Amar. Prabhupada Kirti. Ebu Jasa Ghoshuk Tribhuvana. Prabhupada Kirti is sung in all the three worlds. Not just in Sydney temple or in Melbourne temple. In all the three worlds. Some people in the human society on the earth may not know Prabhupada, but that doesn't matter because all the three worlds are worshipping. If you're a very, very popular person, but the ants of your house will not know, will it matter to you? If you're a big celebrity, you're on a universal level, you're a Miss Universe, Miss World or whatever, but your ants, your cockroaches in your house does not know you. Will it matter to you? So these humans are like cockroaches or ants, sorry to say, who does not know the Kirti of Prabhupada, who does not know Krishna. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who knows Prabhupada? The person who should know Prabhupada, they know Prabhupada. The person who should know Krishna, they know Krishna. One who doesn't know, they're extremely unfortunate. Mahabharata says they're like a janwar. Just in the body of a human, they are two-legged animals. They are not four-legged, they are two-legged animals. Anyway, na chayate mritye va kadachi. It's a very simple verse. Again, there's no janma, there's no maran, there's no death for the soul. There is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being. The soul is ever existing. We read in the previous Nitya Sharirinaha. So it's always Nitya. It never has come into existence. It will never cease its existence. We also remember 2.12. Na tvevaham jatunasam na tameme janadipa na chaivna bhavishyama sarve vayam atah param. So soul is always existing. Body comes and body goes. So body has a date of birth. We all have date of birth. I hope so. You may not know, but your parents will know. A date of birth is definitely there. Do you know your date of expiry? Probably not, but it's there, right? Every product in this material world comes with the expiry date. This product also has expiry date. We would not like to know that, but there's a date of expiry. There's a DOB, there's a DOE. And in between, I think Gaur Gopal Prabhu was saying between birth and death, B and D, there's a C. And C, Prabhuji said, C means choices. You have choices. So birth and death, you have no control. Where did you get birth? How did you get birth? You have no control. Death, you will have no control. But between B and D, what you have? C. C means choices. You can make the good choices, the future will be bright. If you make bad choices, the future will be very dull. So soul is ever existing. Krishna is always ever existing, and Krishna's part and parcel. These souls, all of us, are always ever existing. So there's no past and future for the soul, only for the body. Ajo nityaha. So it is aja, again, no janma. Nitya, it is a similar word you can say. Repeating again, showing the importance of this concept. Shashvat, again same. Shashvat is also eternal. Nitya is also eternal. Shashvatoyam Purano, and it's Puran. A Puran has multiple meanings, but it is Purana, you can say. One of the meaning you can take here. It's very, 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 very old. How old is the soul? As old as Krishna. That means eternal. Na hanyate. This will never be hanya. This will never be killed. Hanya mane sharire. Sharir will be hanya. Sharir will be killed, but soul will never be killed. Is it clear? I'm trying to explain Sanskrit to English or Hindi so that you can remember the verse easily. Otherwise, the verses becomes like a burden. So many verses, so many readings we have to do translation, but we understand it. Actually, it's very, very close to Hindi, very, very close to Hindi. And these verses will become very fun to read. And then you'll get so much extra things which these verses carry. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Now, Prabhupada also writes, I'm just looking at Prabhupada report from Katha Upanishad 1-18. Similar verse actually is given in Katha Upanishad as well. Ajo nitya shashtoyam prano nah nitya hanimani sharir. See, last two lines are exactly same as Bhagavad-Gita. I think telling last class or maybe last to last class, many verses or a part of verses gets repeated in Shastra. And what's the significance of that? That principle is very, very important. You should read and hear again and again so that you can meditate on it and then you can live on it. 221. Who has not read as yet? I see Priya Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe she's busy somewhere. Madhuri Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Would you like to read 221?
Yes, Prabhu. Veda vinashinam nityam.
Veda vinashinam nityam.
Yainam ajam avyayam.
Yainam ajam
Ajamabhayam.
Katam sa purusha partha.
Sa purusha partha.
Kam ghatayati hantikam.
Kam ghatayati hantikam.
Translation. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill?
Thank you, Mataji. So see, beautiful response of Krishna, because Arjuna was saying on the basis of compassion, how can I kill my relatives? Isn't it? That's what Arjuna was saying. And Krishna is saying, start from the last line. It says, Katham sa purusha partha kam ghatiyati hantikam. So you are thinking you are to kill, but soul is Veda. Veda means to know. Know that soul is avinashi. Again, same word. Nitya, it's indestructible. Ajam, it is avya. So see, repeated concepts are there. How many characteristics of the soul are given in the first two lines? Rupam Prabhuji? You can read the Sanskrit words. Bhakti Vijay Mataji always already saying. Anyone can say, it's all right.
So Veda, which means
No,
know.
Veda is just a verb you can say. Know that the characteristics of soul start from the second.
Avinashinam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nityam.
Yes.
Ajam, which is unborn. Avyayam, immutable.
Thank you. That's it. The four qualities are given of the soul, right? So we can easily read this Sanskrit and interpret it. So Avinashi, Nitya, Aja, and Avyaya. And then Krishna is saying, Katham sa purusha partha. Why do you think you're going to kill? Kam ghatyati hantikam. No one can kill this soul. No one can kill, and you will not be the killer as well. So why do you think you're going to kill? You understand the concept? Because that's what Arjuna's confusion was. So Krishna is saying, why do you think you will be killed? Because they are the soul. And you're also a soul. You cannot kill the soul, and soul cannot be killed. You will not be the killer even. So because there are these four qualities, Katham sa purusha. It's a rhetorical question again. That means the answer is implied. That means don't think you're going to kill them, because you cannot kill them because they are the soul. Okay. Next one. If anyone has any question, Sumit Prabhu has a question. I'm sorry, I'll go back. I see the hand. Sorry. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you explain the meaning of avyayam? What does that mean?
Avyay. Vyay means, Mataji, you know, vyay karna. Prabhuji will probably tell you, don't do too much vyay. Spending.
Okay.
Vyay means spending. So avyay means don't spend. Everyone likes that. At least Prabhu likes it. Mataji saying no. So so whoever is loves the money, he will say, don't wear, don't spend. And whoever doesn't love money, just generally I'm saying, no, wear chalega. But Prabhupada said, every cent we are accountable for Krishna. We should not misuse any cent. One devotee actually even said to me personally, he said, if you spend 1 cent of Krishna's money, you get sin. Reference Rupa Raghunath Prabhuji, very, very senior Vaishnava. So he said, 1 cent, you have no right to misspend. It's Krishna's money. You consider or no, it doesn't matter. It's Krishna's money. Anyway, many other Vaishnavas also said similar things, but the point is avyay. Avyay means don't spend. So Prabhupada writes is imperishable. Like milk is a perishable product. For example, if you live in your room without any fridge or something, it will go bad in few hours, maybe a day or so, right? You leave your vegetables, you leave your fruits out, they all deteriorate, they all get bad. Our bodies are getting bad, our bodies are getting destroyed every moment. But the soul is avyay. So soul never gets destroyed. So if a soul is, again, just an example, is very fresh, like a flower is very, very fresh. You pluck a flower, it's very fresh. But after few hours, the flower starts fading. So you cannot just keep the flowers as fresh as it was few hours ago. But the soul, even if you look the soul after 100,000, 100 million years, soul will be exactly same. This is called imperishable. That's one of the quality of soul. And this is not one of the celebrity soul we are talking. Everyone's souls, even amoeba soul has the same quality what American president soul has. Every soul has the same quality. Now, just on that, I remembered one thing when I'm saying that in many cultures of other religions, they also have some conception of soul. But Mataji asked a question about avyay, so I'll just expand it. So other religions also have this concept of soul, but their concept of soul is not so clear. I'll give an example from Christianity. So in Christianity, they have a conception of soul, but their conception of soul is a bit different from us. And in Shuddh Hindi, you can call it a bit weird. They say there are different types of souls. We don't say that. Like our Vedic culture doesn't say that, but they say there are different types of soul, and they categorize as human souls. They categorize as animal souls and plant souls, and they say only human souls are important. That's why you can kill the animals and you don't get any sin. Now that's not what Jesus said. This is what their current interpretation says. So I'm just talking the current contemporary language here. That's not what it means, but that's what they interpret. So they say we can kill animals, we can kill plants, and there is no sin. Also, they say because you're a human soul, you have one responsibility: to go to heaven. Now, how do you go to heaven? As per them, if you accept Jesus as your savior, you go to heaven. That's what they say. If you don't accept Jesus, any non-Jesus ones, anyone, as per them, any non-Jesus, you go to hell and burn forever. This restriction is applied on human soul as per Christianity, as per today's interpretation. Now, just think about it, just logically, just logical thinking about it. First, different types of souls we don't recommend, and it doesn't make any sense as well, right? So plant souls are different, the cow soul is different, dog soul is different, human soul. So human can do any nonsense as they like. That's the first thing. But if you do one thing, if you consider Jesus, which Jesus never said, Jesus always said, I am God or I am Son of God. What did Jesus say?
Son of God.
Son of God.
He said Son of God. But nowadays, what they say, you should consider Jesus as your savior. Jesus is the God and no one else. Okay, even if you consider that for a moment, just for a moment, consider Jesus as your father or God, whatever, right? And then you are the son. And if you don't consider your father, say Jesus in this case, as your father, as your savior, then Jesus or God/God will send you means your soul, human soul, to burn in the hell forever. Eternal damnation. That's the concept in Christianity. Now think about it. Jesus I'm talking, Prabhupada called Jesus was a pure devotee. Prabhupada called that. So a pure devotee will not give even one extra chance to his ruined kids. Even normal parents do that. If your kid does a mistake, what do? You throw your kid out of your house and say, never come again? I don't think so. anyone can do that. Huh? They do one mistake, they do 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So many mistakes they do, we just tolerate them. Worst case scenario, we can say these words, get out and never come back. Any parents would like to do that? No. Even your kid does the worst thing in the world, you still love your kid. Everyone does it, and you should. Huh? So our Supreme Father will not give a second chance. That's just not logical. That's not logical. So there are different types of soul, or what happens to human soul does not have any logic in there. Huh? So this imperishable concept is quite nice, actually, quite nice. Bhagavad-Gita does not recommend that there are humans and animals. Yes, Bhagavad-Gita recommend there are different bodies, and based on your capacity of paying the amount, you get a hotel room, isn't it? If you can pay higher amount, you can go to a better hotel. You have a lower amount, you stay in a lodge. If you have lower amount, you go to a dharamshala. If you don't even have that, go under a tree next to Jamuna River. That's also okay in Vrindavan. So that is the point. Now in other religions, say Buddhists, they don't have concept of soul. They have concept of reincarnation. Now what reincarnates, they have no idea about. I'll not go there. In Jainism, they have some concept of soul. Again, in different religions, in Islam, they have some concept of ruh, but the ruh there is different than what we consider our soul in Vedic culture, I would say. Their ruh is just non-material being. Non-material being does not necessarily make it spiritual. Ruh hai, they call it ruh. Jannat mein ruh jayegi. What's the definition of ruh? What's the responsibility of ruh? What's the characteristics of ruh? They actually have very, very, very vague information. We have very clear information, very, very clear information, and we can live this information, we can understand this, and we can grow on this. The रूह है जब क्या कहते हैं वो जन्नत का दिन आएगा तो सारी रूह उठेंगी. What do you call jannat? I don't know what to translate jannat in English. What's the final day? Doomsday. They call it
Judgment Day, maybe.
Judgment.
Judgment.
That is the
Prabhu, it is Kayamat के दिन सब
कयामत कयामत यार बम्बई के आदमी सब जानते हैं. बॉम्बे में knows all this. कयामत के दिन रूह उठेगी. हाँ.
No, their conception of ruh is that if you do something that will actually please your heart, that is actually means that आपकी रूह बहुत नेक है और आप साफ हो गए और अल्लाह के पाक हो गए. That's what it means.
I love killing cows, so I should kill as many cows as possible. What a clear concept, huh? Anyway, so there are different conceptions, Mataji, in different religions of the world, but there's not much clarity. First, many don't consider it. Whom they consider, they don't have much clarity, and we can logically disprove it based on the Bhagavad-Gita, Mataji. Okay, thank you for asking that nice question. Okay, let's go to the 22nd one. This is another very, very popular verse. Who will read that? Who has not read?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes. Okay.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Okay, Mataji. I think two Matajis are ready. Maybe next one, Ujjal Mataji can read. Yes, Vijay Mataji, please.
Vasamsi jinnani yata vihaya
Vasamsi jinnani yatha vihaya
Navani grihnati naro parani
Navani grihnati naro parani
Tata sharirani vihaya jinnani
Tata sharirani vihaya jinnani
Anyani samyati navani dehi
Samyati navani dehi.
As a person puts on a new garment, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Yeah. How many people know this verse? Just a side knowledge. So raise your hand or something. Yeah, thank you. I read this verse, to be honest, when I was probably in year 3 or 4, something like that. Huh? We had a Sanskrit book, so we read this verse. Madhuri Mataji is saying yes. Mataji is not a question. You're just saying yes, right? Madhuri Mataji?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. No, that's fine. So yeah, so it's a very, very popular verse, and it's so important. That's why it's taught to kids in India, many parts of India, at least I can say. So why it is important? Because it gives a philosophy which again is not taught in other cultures. It's such a nice philosophy, simple philosophy, which makes sense. And if you understand this one verse, you'll be actually rise above many of the dualities of the world. Let's read the words. Vasansi. So Vasansi refers to the clothes. Simple. Jirnani, purane ho jate hain, old ho jate hain. So Vasansi jirnani yatha. As the Vasansi, the clothes become old, we give up, isn't it? Someone might be wearing old clothes because he's doesn't have money, or he's still all right. He's a Vaishnava. Many Vaishnavas you see wearing old clothes, but generally speaking, we give up the old clothes, torn clothes. We give up. And what do? Navani gahanati. We navani, naya. We take a new garments. Naro parani. Aparani refers to the other new garments. Nara, human beings, accept. So simple, just a very simple concept, right? Now with this analogy, Shastra gives a very big analogy. Very nice. Tatha, similarly, sharirani vihaya jirnani. Sharirani, this sharir, this deha, this body, jirnani becomes old. And that's also true. We all become old. We are becoming old. So vihaya, we give it up like this. The first line also had vihaya, third line also had vihaya. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani. When this body becomes old, we give up. Anyani sanyati navani. Sanyati refers to accepting. Navani means new. Anyani, we accept a new body. As body becomes old, we accept a new body. What is this 213? 213, kaun batayega? Who will tell the 213 verse? The first verse of the souls.
Yes,
yes, Prabhuji.
Yatha dehe kaumaram yavana jara. Tatha dehan prapti dhirastaram.
There also Krishna said the same. Tatha dehantar prapti. Dehantar. Dehantar means change of the body. Here also saying sharirani vihaya jirnani. When this body becomes, what happens? Dehi. Who is the Dehi? Soul is the Dehi. Accept sanyati. Navani Dehi. What's the big deal about it? Huh? So don't get too much bogged about this. As you wear new garments by giving up old garments. Similarly, the Dehi, Sharir is accepting new garments, for example. So the Dehi, the Sharirani, the soul, will accept a new garment again. See, our body is a garment of the soul, isn't it? See, my garment is covering my body at this stage. I'm wearing a jacket or something. It's covering my body. Huh? So my body needs a garment. Similarly, soul also has a garment. And what's the garment of the soul? Is this body, this gross body. And then we put another garment on top of that garment. And we think, by this garment, we are looking so great. We wear some new garment and we expect from others, kya lag raha hai? You look great, you look cool, and all that thing. And it's said about Shukadeva Goswami, he was not interested in wearing another garment on top of a garment. What it means, Shukadeva Goswami was not wearing any garment. Huh? Shukadeva Goswami, you see in photos, he's only wearing a garland or wearing a jenu. Huh? Because they are such a high level souls, they do not see anyone as body, they see others as soul. So they do not even distinguish. As per Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami did not distinguish between man and woman. He saw everyone as soul, as a part and parcel of Paramatma. So they don't care about a garment on top of a garment. Huh? Radha Govind Maharaj was saying in one of the classes, he's saying, this body, he was saying in terms of Hindi, this body itself is a boj. Huh? The body itself is a burden on the soul. And then you put more burden on that burden. It does not mean you should give up your garments. That's not the point. The point here is you should not consider your garments so important. That's the point. You have to be presentable and nice looking. That's all good. But you should not be concerned so much about this temporary thing. That's the whole idea. As you give up the old clothes, you give up the body and enter into a new body. Now, this particular verse carries a big concept of transmigration of the soul. Huh? So previously we are looking at the journey of the soul within the body, like 213, Rupam Prabhu was mentioning the first line. And the second is the transmigration. What does migration means? We all have migrated from India, isn't it? I think most of us from India or maybe some of the neighboring countries, we all have come, we migrated here. We are migrants. Huh? Birds migrate from north to south pole. So migration means journey. So the transmigration, the changing journey of the soul. And what changes? Soul doesn't change. What changes is the body. Huh? Sometimes this verse is also taken as a philosophy of reincarnation. Huh? So just try to understand reincarnation and transmigration are not necessarily the same. They used as synonyms. They're not necessarily the same. Why they're not same? Just understand, it's very simple. So transmigration means journey of the soul, say from one body to another body. Now it can be an upgrade or a downgrade, isn't it? Upgrade means you become a demigod from a human, for example. That's upgrade. Cow become a human. That's upgrade. Horse become a human. That's upgrade. But if you become from a human to a dog, is it a good journey or a bad journey? I heard in some India, some movie or something, I can't remember, but I remember this concept. So someone wanted to become NRI. So he wanted to become NRI of say America or someone, you know, some other big country, but he could not go to America. So he went to Sri Lanka and became a Sri Lankan NRI. So when he came back to India, he said, I'm an NRI. So he said, which country? Sri Lanka. People didn't look at it, actually start looking at other way. So sometimes, you know, in the passion, we want to go up, but we actually go end up going down. So in the passion of human, many times we are doing so many nonsense because the facilities are given the human body, and we think we are very great. We are very, very great, but actually we are going down. So that's called transmigration. Now, reincarnation, if you break the word incar, so car refers to the flesh. So reincarnation refers to coming again in the flesh. Re means again, incarnation is in flesh. So coming again in the flesh is called reincarnation. Sometimes we use the word incarnation for Lord as well. And that's why actually we should not use. Lord does not come in flesh. When Lord comes, say Lord Ram, Krishna, Balramji, their body is not like our body. Our body is completely material, made up of these material elements. But Krishna's body is completely spiritual all the time. When he's 6 days old, Krishna killing Putana, and when he is fighting Mahabharat battle, 125-year-old, materially speaking, they're all spiritual. Their body is completely spiritual. So reincarnation actually should only be applied for like souls for us, not for the Lord. And Lord appears and disappears. And in Sanskrit, there's a very nice word, avatar. Avatar means one who avatarati. Avatar is one who descends. That's called avatar. So that's a very appropriate word. Many times in English, you just don't have the word. We have to kam chalao. Somehow or other we get a word, but there's no English translation. Rasa, there is no translation for rasa in English. We call it mellow. Mellow is different than rasa. You read in NOD, very different actually. Incarnation for Lord, we use 10 incarnation, this and that, but karna, flesh for the Lord, no. It should be avatar. Jayanti, the word is used for Krishna or its incarnation or its avatars, but not for humans. So many times you see there's a gap between English translation and actual Sanskrit word. So this is actually the journey of the soul, the transmigration of the soul from one body to another body. So understand the concept? Okay, let's move forward. We have to cover the 23rd verse. So 23rd and 24, they are a couplet together. So we'll read one by one and we'll relate it together as well. Very nice verse. Now again, Krishna is telling more qualities of the soul. The whole section is of soul. Which section we are in, by the way? Anyone remembers? Sometimes we forget where we are. So we know we are in the second chapter. Which section in the second chapter? There are 5 sections there. In the second section, first section was Arjuna's further doubts. In the second section, which Krishna is presenting, from which verse to which verse, and what's the name of the second section?
11 to 30, it's Jnana.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Jnana about Atma Gyan, you can say. So we call it Jnana. You can call it Atma Gyan, Atma ka Gyan. Know yourself. Sometimes, you know, we have Bhagavad-Gita introductory sessions, and they present these verses. You're not the body or the soul. Once Prabhupada was giving a lecture just on that, Prabhupada said, you are not your body. So one person raised hands. Prabhupada said, okay, Prabhuji, or yes, sir, what's your question? And said, if I'm not my body, then whose body I am? He asked, if I'm not my body, then whose body I am? They are so much locked up in the concept of body that they are body. Some people, actually some Prabhupada disciples, and they explain later, when Prabhupada said initially in the lectures to his inner circle disciples, so they thought Prabhupada is saying, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So they thought Prabhupada is not Prabhupada's body because he's a special person. He's a soul, but we are still the body. So people are locked up so much in the concept of body since beginning to end. Just all about body, my comforts, my body. But when the questions are asked, if I'm not my body, then whose body I am? That means you are locked up in the concept of I must be the body. But that's the first instruction of Bhagavad-Gita, Atma Gyan, know yourself. You are not the body. This is where Bhagavad-Gita starts, isn't it? You are not the body. This is one of the basic concepts. Now, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. You are not the body. Okay, let's look at these further qualities of the soul. Who has not read as yet? Jamvati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Nainam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam chindati shastrani.
Nainam dahati pavakaha.
Nainam dahati pavakaha.
Na chainam kledayanti apao.
Na chainam kledayantyapo.
Na shoshanti marutaha.
Na shoshayati marutaha.
The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind.
Okay, very nice. So, very close to Hindi again. Nainam chindanti. Chindanti means ched karna. So Prabhupada writes here, impenetrable, can cut to pieces. Okay, chindanti, can cut to pieces, or it cannot be penetrated basically. Nainam chindanti shastrani. So if you attack someone with a shastra, you can cut to pieces his body, but can you cut to pieces his soul? No. And the analogy can be seen in the Mahabharata when Arjun shot arrows on Bhishma Pitama. It says you could not put even a needle in between two arrows. When Arjun shot so many arrows on the body of Bhishma Pitama, you could not put anything. But that many arrows also, could they penetrate the body of Bhishma Pitama, the soul of Bhishma Pitama? Why? Nainam chindanti shastrani. No weapon is saying nainam. Nainam is no weapon. Don't just say, my chaku, my knife is blunt, but your knife is very sharp. Nainam chindanti shastrani. No shastra can cut soul to pieces. Second, nainam dahati pavakaha. Now in this world, these four things belongs to the body basically. Your body can cut to pieces. At least you can get a cut. You can feel the cut, isn't it? Nainam dahati pavaka. Pavak means agni, fire. Dahati means burn. So the soul cannot be burned by fire. Everything else in this material world can be burned by fire, isn't it? Even the whole, the final time when it comes. So it said there are two types of annihilation. One of the annihilations, the final one, is Agni annihilation. When all the 14 planetary systems are destroyed. The first one is water annihilation. That is a partial annihilation. Read about it in 8th chapter. And the second one is the Agni annihilation, where everything gets burned. So Sankarshan releases the Agni. So the point is, everything in the material world can be burned by Agni. But the soul, nainam dahati pavaka, soul cannot be burned by fire. Third, na chainam kledyantyapho. Kledyantyapho, Prabhupada writes moisten. So water can dissolve so many things. At least it can wet something, isn't it? Water has the capacity. If you pour the water on something, it will become wet. But for the soul, na chainam kledyan, it cannot be moistened by the water. Water, it cannot be, you can say, become soluble in the water. You put sugar in the water, what it becomes? Nice sharbat. You can drink it. Nice ruabza or something like that. But soul cannot be moistened by the water. And the final one is na shoshayati marutaha. Marutaha word, anyone knows marutaha means? Don't read it. I'm sure by reading, you know.
Air. Maruti.
Maruti, yes, that's what I was desiring to hear. Maruti, who is Maruti? Maruti car in India? Maruti 800?
The father of
Hanumanji.
Hanumanji is Maruti. Hanumanji's actual name is Maruti. Why is Maruti? Because he's a putra of Marut. Marut is Vayu. Maruti, Hanumanji. Hanuman actually is a later name. First name is Maruti. Maruti, would have seen a cartoon with your kids, I'm sure. I have seen Maruti. Na Shoshyati Maruta. Now Maruti in this word, Marut in this word is very powerful. Vayu actually is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. But Vayu cannot take the soul away, isn't it? Vayu cannot. Vayu doesn't have that power. Na Shoshyati. Shoshyati here it refers to dries up. So Vayu can dry up so many things, but it cannot dry the soul. So four qualities are given. Why these qualities exist in the soul? go to the next one and we'll get the explanation. 224. Who will read that? Ujjwala Mataji, I think she was ready earlier. If you want to read, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Achedyoyam adayoyam
Achedyoyam adayoyam
akledyo shoshya evacha
akledyo shosya evacha
nitya sarvagata sthanur
nitya sarvagata sthanur
achaloyam sanatana.
achaloyam sanatanaha.
Translation: this individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
Okay, so this one relates to the previous one. So what was the previous one? I'll just open in the second one here. Third, you can read both. So what was the first quality given by Krishna? Nainam chindanti shastrani. You cannot cut soul to the pieces, right? Why? Achedyo, because this is achedyo, is unbreakable. You understand? Something is unbreakable. Can you break it? In India, we used to get unbreakable plates, isn't it? Throw on the floor, it doesn't break. We loved them initially, at least. Our previous, what do you call China cutlery? Something to do with China. I remember that was the name.
China play. China, Prabhu.
Born China?
Born China.
Born China. Thank you, Mataji. See, I always know the half things. Born China plates used to get broken. So then the concept came, unbreakable plates. Huh? So the soul actually is unbreakable. No unbreakable plate is unbreakable. You can break all those things, but soul is actually unbreakable. Achedyo. And you can see the similar words is there. Chindanti, achedyo, right? It's very, very close. You can understand very nicely. Adahayoyam. Adahayo means adahati. Dahati means to burn. Adahati means to not burn. Because soul has this quality of adahaya. It cannot be burned. And that's what 220 says. Nainam dahati pavaka. See, similar words are given. Third one. Akledyo. Akledyo means it cannot be moistened by water. Prabhupada writes, akledyo is insoluble because soul is insoluble. So it is kledyantyapho. Same words are used. The last one is ashoshe. Ashoshe means here it was shosya. Na shoshyati marutaha. 224 you see ashoshe evacha. So 4 responses are given by Krishna in 224 of the 223. Very, very interrelating. Now, next one, again, he gives the qualities of the soul, but little bit expansion. Nitya, everyone knows, Nitya sarvagata. This is very important word. I'll only give a short explanation, Vaishnava explanation. There are Mayavadi explanations here as well, but we'll just go Vaishnava. So, Nitya is everlasting, it's eternal. Sarvagata, it's able to go everywhere. What it means basically, souls exist everywhere. Soul are able to go everywhere. Like if you are having an upgrade from economy class to business class, your flight is going to New York, but you turn because of COVID to Boston. You turn somewhere else, right? So souls are able to go from dog species to back to Godhead. Soul are able to go from dog to demigod species or something like that. Sarvagata, they can go everywhere. Souls exist in Sydney, as well as in America, as well as in India, in a village, in a hole, in the mountain, in Antarctica, everywhere. Sarvagata. Isthanu. Isthanu Prabhupada writes here, unchangeable, and soul does not change. It says there are 6 changes which pertains to the body. What are the 6 changes? Body takes birth, body grows, body is maintained for some time, body produces some byproduct, body deteriorates, and body gets destroyed. They are the 6 changes. They all pertain to the body. These 6 changes does not apply to the soul. That's why soul is called unchangeable. You ask, to a kid, how old are you? There was your happy birthday. He will say, Prabhuji, I'm 5-year-old or 8-year-old or whatever it may be. But can you ask the same question to the soul? Prabhuji, how old is your soul? Nityaha. My soul is Nitya, and your soul is also Nitya. Everyone's soul is Nitya. A cockroach soul is also Nitya. Demigod soul is also Nitya. Nitya sarvagata isthanu. Achala. Achala is a very interesting word, and there are lots of translations and commentaries here. We'll just go to the simple one. So achala. Chala means chalaiman, to move. Achala means immovable. So how do we understand in terms of immovable? Now, soul is immovable. It cannot be the physical movement we are talking here, right? Krishna is just say 222, Vasansi Jirani Yathavya, soul transmigrates, right? 213, soul goes, Janadipaha, 212, soul goes. So here immovability does not mean the immovability of the soul, like soul is just in this body and does not move anywhere. No, soul gives up the body and gets new garment, soul moves. But what it means from immovable, no material elements can move the soul. Now, if I put too much Agni, too much Vayu, too much water, can I move the soul? With a force, I have, a nuclear bomb, can I move the soul? If soul doesn't want, you cannot move the soul, because soul is spiritual. That's what it means from immovable. You cannot move it from our desire. Yeah, if the soul desires, it leaves one body, it goes to another body, or it can go back to Godhead. It can go to Patal, it can go to Yamloka, Pitarloka, wherever it likes. Again, it likes here refers to what it deserves. Maharaj says, not everything you desire, you get. You only get what you deserve. So obviously soul deserves, and desire gets converted to deservance. So soul's desire gets converted to deservance, and based on the deservingness, nature provides a particular body, wherever it may be. Okay, Sumit Prabhu has a question. Sonia Mataji has a question.
Both of us have a question, Prabhuji, actually. Okay, Prabhuji, just wanted to understand, like when you said the qualities of a soul, and so it cannot be seen. And I was thinking that, what are the similarities and difference of the ghost and the soul? Like I was just thinking that, and so ghost is also, it cannot be seen and it can go in everywhere. And does the ghost also have a soul inside? Also, just want to know, understand.
Nice question. I'll just respond quickly. Soul actually has ghost has a gross body. Ghost just is not spiritual. Like he has a soul, obviously. As I said, ghost has a subtle body around it, which cannot be seen by some people. Or some people see ghost. You go to some towns in India, they will tell you all about it, and they can even show you if you desire so. Ghosts are visible. Ghosts are visible. Not everyone can see them. Not all the time you can see them. But now visibility of ghosts does not mean you have to become eligible to become to see them. Actually, it's a disability. It's not an upgrade. It's a downgrade. If your consciousness is low, then only you'll be able to interact with them. So it's not an upgrade. Oh, I was able to see a ghost. It's not a very nice thing. Okay, if you see, you see. It's described so many times at so many places. So they have a gross body. So that's very clear. Regarding visibility, yes, many people see them. What was the second question, Mataji?
We can move in terms of movability.
Yeah. They have a subtle body. Simple. They have a subtle body which is made up of material. Man, buddhi, ahankar. It's a material element. They are subtle. Subtle means I cannot see them from my naked eyes, but they are material elements. Like Brahma's body is made up of material element, but buddhi. Now, can I see my buddhi? I think I have some, but I can't see it. I can experience it. So similarly, I cannot see Brahma. If Brahmaji comes here, honestly, I don't have that eligibility to see. But Brahmaji's body is material. It's made up of buddhi. Now, we cannot comprehend all this. We can only theoretically know this. But Brahma's body is made up of only one element, which is buddhi. That's why it's so buddhiman. Our buddhi is very, very low. So it's all material. It's all material.
So everybody has a
is material. Your ahankar is material.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify, Prabhuji, that everybody has a soul. Even the ghost has a soul.
Yes, definitely. A soul is moving in a different body. Simple as that. Like you have a female body, you have a particular name, you have a particular birthplace. They also have it. It's exactly same thing, but they have a different characteristic. That's why people get scared. But it's nothing special about them. Actually, they are the sinful souls. Sorry to say that. Many times.
Actually, the confusion was when the soul is in the body, and when the body dies, soul moves on to another body.
Yes.
That ghost whose body is died, so the soul is still in the ghost body. I'm sorry.
Because they don't have enough credit to get another body. Like if you leave your house, you go to you buy another house, you have to have money, isn't it? If you don't have money, you come on the road. Sorry. Yeah. Because you leave a property, you have to have enough money to buy another property. But if you don't, in between, what happens? Many people come on the road Because they don't have enough money. Simple as that. So you have to be somewhere and then you beg, borrow, steal, whatever, and then you go into another house. Similarly, they have to get the credit to get a body, right? Yeah. Everyone has to do that. It's a visible ghost or invisible ghost. Everyone is doing the same thing, actually. We go on a parking lot one day somewhere, but everyone, because there will be the same as you will not be surprised. But here, because people are different in your general experience, that's why you get, oh, ye kya hai? But actually, it's very common. It's very, very common. We don't have enough experience. That's our fault. But it's just one of the characteristics of this nature. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Sumit Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, basically, you mentioned that the soul cannot move due to any material elements. But indirectly, is that something that happens? For example, a person has an accident, materially gets, hit by something, and the body dies. Then the soul moves on, right?
Yeah.
So directly you cannot.
So there are two possibilities there: to Kala Mrityu or Akala Mrityu. Kala Mrityu, that the time was there for that soul to leave that body. The 30 years allocated is finished. You get an accident or heart attack or whatever, corona, this and that, just external. But that soul has to move. And Akala Mrityu, this is what we are discussing, Bhoot, Pret, and Ghost and all that. So it's very simple, straightforward concept. Huh?
Sure.
We don't know all these things, to be honest, but Brahmaji knows, Yamraj knows what they are doing. So to whom they move, like in your, team, sorry, they do some restructuring. They move one banda from this team to that team, rename this team to something else. Some whole team gets destroyed. Bye-bye tomorrow after 1 month, it just happens. So similarly, these different bodies, they come and go, this team and that team, they call this name, that name, Indra Gopa, Manushya, president, dog. It's just a soul, simple. Honestly, it's made up of material elements based on the rental you can afford. You got this. One day you leave it. How do you leave? Where do you go? That's very complex. But this all is happening. And Yamraj and Brahmaji, they're all controllers. They're controlling it under the law of Krishna. Maya Dekshin Prakriti Sute Sacharacharam. Every chara or achara is moving in my Prakriti under my Adhyakshata. Krishna is the real Adhyakshata. Like you may have, some direct reports under you. You don't have to get involved in every single thing they do. They just come and report to you if they're right or wrong. You guide them and you correct them or you expand something, and that's it. They do work on their own. Similarly, Yamraj, Brahmaji, other demigods are doing work on their own, but it's the dakshata of Krishna, under the full control of Krishna, under the guidance of Krishna, under the laws of Krishna. Okay.
Prabhuji, one quick question. Sorry.
Yes,
so the ghost doesn't have a gross body. It has a subtle body.
Yes.
So the soul resides in that subtle body because it doesn't have a heart, right? So normally the soul resides in the heart.
Yeah, but the heart is needed for your body to breathe, but he doesn't have the gross body.
Correct. So it resides in the subtle body, the soul.
So we also have subtle body right now. You have Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, the first subtle body. In the second, you have covering of life here, five types of pranas. And then you have your gross body. So if you lose one layer, you still have second and third and fourth layer. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Rupam Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, I have two questions. First one is, as in the
ghost one.
No, ghost, Prabhu.
Just kidding. You can ask.
Prabhu, it's in the translation, it says, he is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, and so on. Yes. So, Prabhu, and he refers to soul. So shouldn't soul be genderless?
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
It is everlasting.
Yeah, very nice. It's explained by our acharyas. I should have mentioned that, but I forgot. Thank you, Rupam Prabhu. So Prabhupada writing this as he as a masculine gender, and he's like, what? Soul is he? What about she? Why not she? No, as Rupam Prabhu said, soul is genderless. Gender only belongs to the body. Like as we are saying very clearly, you are belonging in a so-called male body or a female body. Actually, we are all female by Prakriti. We are all female. Now, in spiritual world, you will have your Sarupa. You may be a Gop or a Gopi or some other assistant of Krishna. But here, soul is genderless. He is just a convention which Prabhupada has used. Conventionally, we say he, but it may be a her. Nowadays, you see in offices, in the signatures, they are writing he or she slash, whatever. Because many times you don't know this name is of a male or a female. In signature, in my office, they're doing it actually. They write he slash their name, she slash their name. So we can identify correctly because there are so many different names these days. Okay, Rupam Prabhu, second question.
Bro, second question is on the same line. It says everywhere, present everywhere. So, bro, are we talking about the same soul, like within us being everywhere, or we are talking about multiple souls around us in the form of microorganisms?
I said in the middle of this verse, there's a Mayavadi explanation and there's a Vaishnava explanation. So I'll go Vaishnava explanation. What you said actually is correct as a Mayavadi explanation. Mayavadis use this word here, sarvagataha, as referring to one soul being present everywhere. But I can disprove it again based on understanding of our acharyas. If one soul is present everywhere and that soul is achala, if soul is immovable, then what's the point what Krishna has said in 2:13 and 2:14, 2:12, right? The souls are different. The souls are individual. Like he's saying me, you, and all of the. So they are different souls. So one soul cannot be present everywhere. Another one, when Krishna says Vasansi Jirani Yatha, soul moves to next body. If soul present everywhere, then what is the point of, if you are present everywhere, then can you give up one garment and accept another garment? Logically also, that translation does not make sense. So thank you, Rupam Prabhu. I didn't want to explain that, just lack of time, but you made me explain that. So yeah, Sarvagataha, that's the word they use, and Achala. And they use Mayavadi translation. Okay.
So we are indicating multiple souls here, not one.
Definitely. Sarvagata, they are able to go everywhere. Whichever body they desire, they get that body. And why I was saying desire, because we desire and then we get the deserving. Like if Prabhupada said, if I desire to eat meat, I'll get a lion's body, for example. If I desire to be clothless, I'll become a tree, for example, in the next body. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
I'll take it offline.
Okay. You sure? If something quick, we can go.
No, that's fine. All good.
Okay. We have 2 more hands. We have 2 minutes. Let's try. Manish Prabhuji.
Prabhu, from all these shlokas, we understand that soul cannot be destroyed. But Krishna has created the souls. Can Krishna destroy the soul?
Very nice question. Answer is given by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, so I'll just repeat what I've heard from him. Yes, Krishna, being omnipotent, is able to do anything and everything. But, as Prabhu said, but he will not do what he has not made about the law. So as per the law, soul is always present in the past, present, and future. So he will not, although he can wipe off the existence of the soul, but he will not wipe off the existence of the soul. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So capacity is there, but he will not do, because he has made this law, Nitya, Nitya, Nitya. So he is Nitya, we are also Nitya. With our father, we are also Nitya. Jiva Goswami has actually a lot more explanation of this. Lack of time, I don't know how much I can explain. What does Nitya mean actually? But anyway, we just understand simple, everlasting is enough at this stage.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice question. Rasanan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is related to last week, Purport Prabhu. Like in text 13, it says that Bhishma and Drona being a noble souls. But I'm trying to understand in one of the lectures I've heard, I don't know in which Purana it says, even if we see the cow being, treated very badly by somebody else, and if we don't question or stop them, we will be blind in the next birth. But here, Bhishma Pitamaha is not saying any word when the Vastrahan of Draupadi is done. And but in the purport, it says definitely they are going to get a spiritual body in the next life. Yep. So how do I understand that, Prabhu?
Thank you, Mataji. So now Puranas explain many things, and we have to understand those principles in the light of the context in which they have used. It's like Prabhupada said, Ardha Kukut Nyaya. Ardha Kukut Nyaya means half-hand logic. So hand does 2 things, as Prabhupada said. I'll explain quickly. So hand eats and produces the egg, right? Does 2 things. So a greedy person sees only the back part of the hen. That's what Prabhupada said. And what he does, he said, the front part is very expensive because it takes money to feed the hen. But the back part is very nice because it gives egg, and egg I can sell in the market and get some money. So what he does, this foolish person, he cuts the hen into half. And he says, only the back part I should have, not the front part. Front part I will throw away, and the back part. Is the back part any useful anymore? The front is gone, the moo is gone, the hen is dead. And front is also gone, back is also gone. So it's called Ardha Kukutnya. So Prabhupada actually used this word, half-hand logic. That's the English translation. Half-hand, we should not use the principle of different scriptures out of context. We should always take with the context. Now, in terms of this context of Mahabharata, I can relate this principle with this context here. So Mahabharata and Drona, they are nice souls and they'll get special bodies. Yes, they have actually paid off in this birth itself. Like Bhishma Pitama went through so much pain. For 54 days, he was on Varnashaya. He was lying on the bed of arrows. And how many arrows were shot in his body? As I just said, you could not even put a needle in between two arrows. You can just imagine the pain. I had one experience, personal experience I'm sharing. In India, I was playing with some needle, a big needle actually. A needle actually went through my finger, honestly, went through fully it went through. And you can imagine for a few moments, what was my situation. Imagine Bhishma Pitama's pain. And it's explained in Mahabharata very clearly. By lying on that situation, in the painful situation for 54 days, all the blood of Bhishma Pitama was out. His prana was still there, obviously. And that's how he paid off his sins, what he had done. And that was one time he saw something bad, one time. And I think somewhere else I was listening, he was saying, he only saw it one time in his life, and he did not say. How many times we have seen from these eyes abominable things? How many times? What will happen to us? Our only hope is Krishna. So yes, Mataji, those principles may be correct. We're not denying it. It's Shastri saying, but we have to take it from the context. And in the context of ourselves, so there's a Bhishma context, ourselves, yes, we also have to pay those sins which we have committed knowingly or unknowingly in past, present, or future. But because we are in the moment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is helping us to take those sins away and give us bhakti. Although we are very sinful, we are born in Kali Yuga, that's a proof. We are sinful. We are sinful. We are not so great. But somehow or other, by some Vaishnava's mercy, we are in the moment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are able to do some bhakti, some devotion, some pleasing to Vaishnavas. And because of the mercy, our sins are not influencing us so much. But on the other part of the world, you can see how many devotees are there in the world, and how many, I should not even say devotee, how many aspiring devotees are there in the world? How many aspiring? We are not devotees. Devotee is very, very big. Okay, some of you are. I am not. Aspiring devotees, very few aspiring devotees, because we are so sinful. And why? Because of the principle of Shastra is correct. We have gone through so much sins and so many reactions and so many births, and we're still going through. That's why our Acharya say, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Shayanam. Punarapi, again and again and again. Get out. What are you doing here? And we think, oh, I'm so happy. I have such a good family. I have such a good son or daughter or pati, patni, job, wealth. I'm completely settled. I'm fine. I'm fine. You are stupid. That's what Shastra is saying. You are stupid. What are you doing? Just another life. He said, if you go to the bottom of Gangaji, there's so many sand particles. There's as many sand particles on the Gangaji's riverbed, that many janmas you have taken. You still think you are okay? How stupid you are. That's what Shastra is saying. I'm not saying please don't take. I have no eligibility to say that, but Shastra says, Narad Muni is saying, what are you doing? Get out. Another birth, another entanglement. How many more? How many more? Every birth you are suffering, every birth you are generating so many bad karmas, some pious activities. And you are just suffering and suffering and suffering, and again, zillions of life waiting for you. Viraj Prabhu was saying in another class, every desire you have, one new body is waiting for you. I heard this statement, I'm like, my goodness. Every desire you have, one body is waiting for you. Krishna will fulfill that. Obviously, we're talking some bad desires that we have. So we should try to come out. An intelligent person, Yajantihi Sumedasa. Sumedasa, who's very, very intelligent, he will come out. He will come out. He will do the duty of the body, definitely. Huh? Krishna is asking Arjuna to do the duty, but don't get attached. Do the duty, do the whatever is needed for the body and body relatives. Get out. You are not the body, you are the soul. And we'll see how beautifully Krishna will develop this concept for the Bhagavad. This is just a starting bit, right? Krishna will develop in a beautiful way, and it will end up in Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Huh? Marmana Bhav Madhyato Madhyaji Mam. Krishna says, become my devotee. Just become my devotee. And you say, oh, I'm very scared of all the sins. Krishna says, do not worry. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshishami mas. Don't worry. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Because you will present arguments from Shastra. Oh, I have seen this. I have seen that. I have done that. I have not spoken there. So much sin I will get. Actually, you will get. But Krishna says, don't worry. I'll take care of you. Is that okay, Mataji? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I'll take quick one, Master Prabhu, because it's 9:06.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, probably we'll do it next week because I think the answer will be pretty long. So okay. I just don't want to take time because it's actually from 2 verses. There are 2 verses and I want to understand what is Atma, what is Paramatma. Then second question is, if there is a soul, right? Then what is the difference between consciousness of the body to the soul? Because even if you cut your finger, there's a consciousness, right? Then where is the soul residing? You say the soul resides in the heart. So what about the finger cut? So it's a pretty long question. So we please answer it next time. Okay. Thank you very much.
Itself took 2 minutes. Yes. Okay, Prabhuji, very nice. No, we'll try to respond. Very nice question. Please write it. If anyone else has any questions, please forgive. We are running out of time now. Please write it and we'll definitely try to do in our revision your question and answer. So your concepts are as clear as possible. Not everything will be clear, but at least we can try a little bit. Whatever we know, we can share with each other. Okay.
Last thing I just want to ask you, if you can explain, is the layers that you're talking about. There is a soul, then there is what is the relation, where is the Atma, Paramatma, because that's very confusing because we need to know how the layer works. Okay. Then only we'll be able to understand the future verses, I think.
Prabhuji, as usual, can you depict it through a diagram that you?
Wow. Okay. No worries. Everyone has to come in one room. I can depict it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's just too difficult.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday, okay, we are meeting physically. Prabhu is ready. No worries, we'll try to do whatever we can. One general thing, don't try to get too much bogged up with this knowledge and technicalities. In general, I'm saying, I'm not discouraging you to ask questions because if we get too much into technicalities, we cannot proceed further. Many questions Krishna will answer in Bhagavad-Gita itself. Many questions will get answered in another Shastra and Puranas. Because if we get into too much technicalities, again, no discouragement, then we cannot proceed with the further concepts. So even if one concept is not super clear, we can move up as per the Bhagavad Gita flow, and slowly you will see Prabhupada will clear up many of your doubts, and other doubts you will see other Shastra, other lectures will clear up. Why I'm saying that? Because we have to move as well. Otherwise, each topic is very nice, and we can spend actually a whole 7-day seminar just on one topic because there's so much in there. So just in general, I'm saying don't worry so much if you don't feel super comfortable in particular concept about this and that and layering and that consciousness, locations and all that. Krishna will answer many of them. But still, we will try to summarize these things and move forward because we have to balance. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you everyone again for coming midweek. I know it's a weekday. You have many other responsibilities as well. But it's nice to take association of all of you instead of skipping a class. Now, just one announcement, quick one. This weekend is a very big festive weekend. We have 4 days festival in the temple. Friday, His Holiness Devanath Maharaj is giving an initiation ceremony, giving a class. Is giving a Bhagavatam class, which is posted on the ISKCON.com. So please attend wherever possible. Saturday, we have Radha Gopinath anniversary Adivas, beginning of the festival. Sunday, we have Narsingh Chaturdashi, so Narsingh Bhagwan appearance day. Very important for sadhakas like us because he will protect our bhakti, whatever little bit we have, and he will guide us further. So please try to do something for Narsingh Dev, whatever is possible for you. And Monday, our Radha Gopinath is turning 51. So it's a big anniversary festival. So whatever is possible for you, please come participate and enjoy these festive seasons with Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavad ki jai.
Jai.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare